Hi guys, plowarrior here, and today we're going to do the first member review on the site. One of my subscribers was fortunate enough to send me some footage here, and we're just going to review them playing 4 tables of 510 PLO. And we have done I have done a couple of coaching sessions with him, and he has improved massively already after the 3 sessions. He was already pretty solid in the first place, but he has definitely improved. So let's see how we can help him a bit further here. Sorry, just bear with me there. So first hand, this is how I can pause it, right? Yeah. First hand, we concentrate on the top left here. I mean, obviously we have trips on extremely draw heavy board, so when the player checks here, I would like to bet big on this scenario because there is a lot of draws here. So I would bet almost the full pot or the full pot because he's probably not folding his combo draws here. So I would, and he probably still continues with a jack and probably all over pairs. So I would like to bet pot here instead of half pot. Any hand he's folding to, like a full size pot bet, he's probably folding to a half size pot bet, to be honest. So I would just bet a bit bigger there. 10, 9, 6, 4 on the button. Bottom right is a fine open, no doubt. And top left, this is easy fold, obviously. And on this board, I don't mind checking back. Versus a donk bet, we have 6 high flush draw and a gut shot. So our hand is not strong in either direction. I presume this is this guy here. Yeah, it is. See if I can freeze on his stats here. Well, we've only got 21 hands on him. There we go. Donk bet, which is what he's done here. He hasn't donk bet yet out of 8 samples. So considering we block all the flush draws, well, not all the flush draws, but considering we block flush draws and we have a 10, we do block a lot of queen 10 ace, queen 10 9 and flush draws here. So super likely he's going to be donk betting here with you know, king jack or better, basically. Especially considering he's never donk bet before out of 8 samples, and the fact that he's bet the pot as well. So I don't mind just folding here. We are in position, so I wouldn't say it's a massive mistake to call, but I mean, we can't even really get 2 streets of value on a heart. I mean, if we really think he has a set of kings or king jack, I guess we could try, but I wouldn't mind either play. Folding or calling here is fine. I expect him to have a strong hand here though, basically. So raising would be a mistake. That's the only thing I can say here. With a 10 high flush draw, I think I'm probably always calling. With a 6 high flush draw, I think I'm probably more inclined, I guess, to fold on the flop. But like I say, not a huge mistake. We do have a 10 blocker for the queen 10, but against somebody playing this crazy, I wouldn't try to bluff him. He looks super loose, and it's just doesn't look like we're going to try to bluff him. And on the river, if he does check, it's certainly a value bet here because he can have, like we say, king jack, set of kings, etc., and be checking this scary turn card. So for sure, I would value bet the river. And against the bet, it's very strange that he would bet king jack here or set of kings. So yeah, it looks like he does have a flush draw. So it looks like he can have a flush, but I'd probably just call here anyway. But yeah, this is why it helps to have the 10 high flush, which is probably why I wouldn't end up in this situation, because I'd probably fold this hand more often than not on the flop. And with the 10 high flush, I would probably call. So we can call the river the 10 high flush, but I don't mind just calling here to see, out of curiosity. Yeah, this makes sense that he does have the flush here, just because I really don't expect him to bet king jack on the flop, check the turn because he's scared of, you know, the queen 10, and then turn his hand into a bluff on the river. So this hand makes a lot of sense, even though we did block the 10 and we blocked some hearts. this hand certainly made sense on the river. But I don't mind. Don't mind the way he played it, but my default is probably just to fold on the flop with a weak hand. Especially when his donk is 0%. Let me just rewind a little bit here, see if we missed any hands. Bottom left, ace king queens, ace queen 5-6 is. I'm probably just checking here. I don't expect much fold equity when this guy limps. I only got 3 hands on him, but he's played every one. So yeah, I'm just check folding the flop for sure. Not much else to do here. On the ace queen 5-6. And pocket queens, bit iffy hand against the min raise. I guess you can call, but he looks loose enough to be calling a min raise for sure. Against this guy's donk bet, we block a lot of king queens that he'll be donk betting, like king queen ace, king queen 9. We block them, so he's very likely going to have 2 pair or better here to be donking into 4 people. So I guess we can fold. I mean, calling will be put it 1 pot size bet left on the river. I guess we can call because we have a backdoor flush draw. Yeah, we can call and get it in. Obviously, on a diamond is okay. Maybe on a 7 is okay. On a king or 8 is okay. On a queen is okay. Yeah. But yeah, I don't love the situation. It's borderline for sure, but I think folding is probably the correct thing. I mean, in this scenario, he does have probably the weakest hand. He's going to donk bet there, but even against that, we are winning against this. Jack king 9, top pair gut shot. Sorry, top pair double gut shot, 2 backdoor flush draws. But I don't think he's going to have a hand like that too often when he donks. He's certainly going to have 8-9 or Jack 10 more often than not. We can lead this on the bottom left as he check back the flop. I wouldn't mind leading the 10 for some protection, as we need a lot of protection. I'm very likely good with the 10, but he checks back. Yeah, I would isolate the limper here with Jack 10-9. This guy's 5 hands on him, he's played every one. So certainly would like to isolate this guy with this hand. Oh, he min raised. Okay, I'd have thought he no, he didn't min raise. This guy raised, right? Yeah, he limped. So we should be isolating with this hand against somebody. I know it's awkward if he has a short stack and he might shove on us, but he's played every hand so far. So like he's gonna have just like king 7 4 deuce, like in his, you know, we just need to punish his limping range, and we just don't really want the big blinds to be coming along, small blinds, sorry. So definitely would like to isolate this hand against 100% range. Flop, I would just get it in, I think. This guy limps, this guy min raises. He's just also weak. We have top pair and a gut, an over pair, top pair, and an open ender, like, and it's like 1 pot size bet left on the flop after this guy bets. Right, there's like 157 in there. Oh, okay, there's like SPR of 2, but we have such a strong hand, right? I would just like to get it all in. We can get worse hands to call, like flush draws, ace high flush draws, etc. You just put yourself in an awkward position now. If any card above a 10 comes, really. Well, not really. But I mean, we don't really like a 4, 6, 7. Well, we like a 7. We don't really like a 4, 6, 7. We don't really like a heart. We don't really like an ace or a king. So I would just jam the flop. Just do a quick rewind here. See the top table. Ace, Jack 7-8, double suited. This guy raises here and gets 3-bet. This guy stats look possibly a reg, and I don't know, possibly a fish. So I don't mind cold calling here. This is fine to cold call. Interested to see this guy's 3-bet stats. I think he's on the button, right? 4.5%. Yeah, so it's pretty. It's a pretty tight range, but I don't mind still calling there with Ace Jack 7-8. It's a disciplined fold, especially this guy 4-bets, I guess. But I would probably still call there in the getting decent-ish price once we've raised. Did we raise or were we in the big blind? Yeah, we were in the big blind, right? Yeah. So I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I would still call this hand for sure. Skip forward a little bit here. Yeah, this hand is certainly in the top 20% of hands, I presume. Could be wrong about that, but yeah, anyway, we're certainly raising in the small blind. We want to be raising a lot here. I always be betting the pot, or close to it, at least here. There's a lot of draws on the turn that he can pick up that will be calling us, so I'd like to bet max, or close to it. Charge him for all the draws. Flop second nuts in a 5-way pot. We have no spade blockers, so very likely the flush draw going to be out there. Depending on the games, I don't mind. I think leading is probably too aggressive here, but certainly we can be betting now. I'd probably bet the pot though, because like I said, there's going to be a lot of straights to the 6 now. Anyone with 5-3, 6-3, 4-3, deuce 3, ace 3 is going to have a straight. Any flush draw, is still going to be there. So I would like to be betting on the higher side here. And to balance it out, we can bluff when we have, pocket 7s here. Maybe pocket 3s as well. And yeah, I would just like to bet bigger than that, especially in a multi-way pot where you're very likely going to get called anyway, so you just want to charge the maximum. Like I say, you could have got what's that, an extra 3-4 big blinds by betting the pot here, and it's very safe river, obviously. I'd probably still bet maybe 80% pot here. I don't expect. This guy looks pretty loose. This guy looks pretty loose. This guy looks very loose. This guy looks pretty loose. I don't expect too many people to fold a straight to the 6 out of the 5 players. So maybe I would just pot on the river here. I can pot here with pocket 3s and maybe even pocket 7s to balance it out. But yeah, it's okay size. And top left table, we get raise, get 3-bet. The guy has half a stack, so just whatever, gamble, right? Gamble. And like, we're jamming this flop with anything, right? If we have just a pair of 5s here, we have to balance. I mean, we have to lead because we have the right price. We have to stack off even if you have a pair of 5s. So anytime we flop a pair here, or like an open ender, gut shot, and a pair, etc., we're stacking off. So we just need to be jamming on the flop. So we need to jam our, obviously, top 2 pair and any pair, basically. If there's a chance there's any fold equity there, we need to be jamming. Ace, queen, jack. No suit under the gun. I think this is a disciplined fold. It is certainly a fold without any suit. Certainly with an ace high suit, it's a raise. Probably with queen jack, I think might be borderline with the queen high suit under the gun. Yeah, I think it's a fold. unless you have specifically an ace high suit. So this is a good fold, and 6, 7, 8, 9 in the small blind. This guy limps, and I would probably just complete here. The thing is, when you raise here, very unlikely you see people limp fold. So if you raise here, the very least is it's going to go 1, 2, 3 ways. This guy looks pretty loose pre-flop, so very likely he's going 4 ways out of position with, you know, a 9 high rundown. So I would just call and, you know, not raise this hand. Double suited, I would certainly consider raising. It looks like he's checking it out. Small blind. Single suited. I don't know what this means. I guess this means fold. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. I don't know. It was good that he was checking it out though. But yeah, I'm going to imagine this is most definitely not a raise in the small blind. You can raise this sometimes if it's obviously button versus small blind and you're just in a small blind and you know you want the big blind to fold. It's a good hand to raise sometimes because he's going to have like, you know, 50-60% of hands. So he's going to have super wide range. You'd like this guy to fold because you want to play 6, 7, 8, 9 heads up. So you force him out of the pot and, you know, it's just good for your range. 3-betting hands like that heads up sometimes. So you can, you know, not always have aces and, you know, 19 jack queen, your super high rundowns. So can 3-bet it sometimes heads up, but definitely just a call in the small blind there, multi-way. So the queen, queen, 4 deuce on the top right. I wouldn't mind limping this hand. It doesn't crush in equity or anything. And like I said, there's a lot of limping going on at small stakes. It's you rarely have any pre-flop fold equity, especially when people limp. But however, I would not fold to a limp on the queen, queen, 4 deuce. You have like a high pair, you have, you know, a queen high flush draw. It's definitely worth 1 big blind on the button, basically. So I wouldn't be folding this hand. I'm raising or calling, but at low stakes when people are limping, I'm not raising it, so I have to limp it there. Especially because you are actually quite deep with this guy. I think we've got 400 big blinds here. He's got, you know, 340 big blinds. So, you know, we can set over sit him with pocket queens, and, you know, it's something to look out for when you have deep stacks and you're in position against a deep stack, especially 71% V-pip pre-flop, 130 hands. This is super high, man. We want to be playing deep pots with somebody like this, right? And lo and behold, you get punished for making the wrong play. But yeah, it's definitely not a fold pre-flop for 1 big blind. It's going to really suck if you had jacks. Yeah, but not super likely. So we thought about 3-betting here with the kings. Just going to see the guys open steal. On the button it's 44%. It's not really high enough for me to want to 3-bet. You can sometimes, but I'd much rather have you know, king, king, ace, jack, or king, king, ace, 5. Having an ace blocker does, you know, decrease the likelihood of you getting 4-bet, which is, you know, a good thing because you don't really want to get 4-bet with this hand. So we flop the blockers. It kind of sucks that there's clubs there and we don't have at least one club, because for us to make a play here, there's a lot of hands that can still call us. If this was a rainbow board, Jack Queen 9 rainbow, I definitely like to play back. So if we did flop King 10 on a rainbow board, we'd probably just be calling on the flop. So I would like a call if it wasn't a rainbow board, but I guess exploitably on the flush draw board we could maybe raise, and then, you know, he has to fold unless he has, you know, aces with a nut flush draw, you know, Queen 10, Jack 10, 9 10 with a nut flush draw, etc. Or, you know, Queen X with the flush draw. So I guess exploitably we could just raise here, like one and done, and just give up when he continues. But yeah, I think on this board probably just giving up is probably standard. But I do want to play back sometimes. Yeah, you can do it, man. You can do it. I think raising is a better option on this board, rainbow, on this flush draw board. It looks like we folded. Looks like we folded, which is, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind raising and folding. I mean, I'm probably folding there like maybe 70% of the time on that flush draw board, but I certainly want to do some raising occasionally to fight back against the button range. Yeah. Something to consider. Yeah, so when we have like the king blockers on a non-flush draw board, like we would be slow playing King 10 a lot more because there's less scare cards. So we can like float the flop out of position, then we can lead the turn or check raise the turn and bet the river if the board doesn't change. And I think it's going to show a profit. Just going to fast forward a little bit here so we can get dealt into some hands. Aces will do. Aces will do. I would like to bet this flop with the aces here. We're stacking off against this guy. If we bet and it goes like, you know, jam, raise, we're folding. But I mean, we do block a lot of hands that might jam here. We have the ace of hearts. We block, you know, 10 jack queen because we have a queen and a 10. So we're not going to get too many raises on this board. So I'd definitely like to see betting here. If we have a hand like, you know, ace, ace, deuce, 5, rainbow on this board, I'm just giving up, don't get me wrong. But this specific hand, I think we have more fold equity than if we had different aces. So we have to get in against this guy here, obviously. With our backdoor flush draw, gut shot, overpair, etc. Folding would be a mistake for sure. I mean, we don't need this much. We need like put 250 in to win like 550. We're getting 2-1, pretty much, right? We need 33. Oh, this is a huge mistake to get to fold here. We need to put 250 in to win 5, right? Getting 2-1, we need, you know, 33% here. And if you run a simulation, our hand is going to have 33% against his hands getting in, you know. He's going to be getting it in with, like, you know, any pair and a gut shot, any 2 pairs, any flush draw with a couple of overcards, any straight draw probably. Because, you know, he doesn't have, you know, many chips. He's just jamming. This guy's just super fishy. If you're just betting here and folding when you only need, you know, 33% here, it's just, you know, this hand easily has this, you know, overpair, backdoor flush draw, gut shot, and you block some of his some of his, you know, Queen 10 hands, and, you know, nut flush draws, but definitely a mistake there. Maybe we'll do the simulation there at the end of the session. We'll just run some numbers and see the equity that we're going to have. You can check this hand back sometimes. The ace king 4-5. We opened on the button, right? Did we open? Did we open on the button? Sorry, I just need to rewind this. Yeah, open the button. Called. Yeah, we can check this hand back just for some balance. The guy looks like he's tilting, but so maybe more inclined to bet. But we don't love to get jammed on here because we only have like the ace as an overcard, and that completes the straight when we hit it. So this is a really nice hand to check back on the flop because we need some stronger hands, you know, to check back with on the flop, and this hand is perfect because, you know, we can turn some, you know, turning a 3, a deuce, you know, a 5, a heart is really good for us. But if we get jammed on now, we're not going to, you know, be in good shape. So it's perfect to, especially if he's tilting as well. He might be a bit more likely than usual to just bet on the turn when we check back on the flop. So yeah, could consider checking this hand back sometimes. Just doing a quick fast forward here to see if we can get to some other hands. We're in the big blind here, I presume. Limped pot, yeah. This is going to hit our big blind range somewhat of the time. Depending on the turn card, you could consider bluffing. I don't really love this turn card because it brings a lot of 9, 10 and 10 jacks. But if it was any card 7 or lower, I would consider bluffing on the turn here. But on the 8, probably just give up. Would be the normal thing to do. Ace, king, jack, deuce, and the top left table. I think he's just checking in. I think I would just, depending on his HUD stat, this is really annoying, I can't find it. Hopefully we can see it now. This is a good hand to 3-bet against an aggressive player, for sure, if they're opening too much. He's in the small blind, big blind. He's in the cutoff, right? 31% button, cutoff steal. It's not a huge amount, to be honest. So you don't have to 3-bet this every time. But it is good to have some high cards. Ace, king, queen, ace, king, jack. In the small blind range, we don't want to do too much calling in the small blind because we encourage the big blind to come along. And, you know, with this hand, it's not so bad because we have like nut suits and stuff. But it's certainly better to be 3-betting more hands in the small blind than in the big blind, for example. So this is a good hand to be doing this with. And we just smash the flop all over the place. Going to be slightly hard to get too much value. This guy's snap calling. So I don't mind this bet size here is quite nice. Because, you know, we have a jack, we have an ace, we have the king, we have the nut flush draws. On the turn, I would probably bet again. I mean, we're not folding this hand at any point. If he somehow has a 7, then good luck to him, right? So yeah, I like betting again. And I mean, if he has a hand like King 10, he's in a gross spot now. I mean, it's only one hand, but it's we could get a hand like King 10 to fold. I don't love the turn bet. 8-9 is pretty gross. 8-9 gets there is pretty gross. I don't expect to be getting too much value here on the river here. I mean, we have the worst hand that we end up here on the river with, Ace King, pretty much. I can't see what we get value from at all. I think I would just check here actually. Like, any 8-9 is calling for sure. Any King 10. We might get King 10 to fold, but like I say, it's only like one hand example. It's not too many combinations of King 10, and we even have a King. So I probably wouldn't jam here. We can't get value from any hands really. Checking is okay. I don't expect him to be like betting on the river too much here. I mean, obviously if we have a full house here, we're jamming the river, but I expect to be losing like somewhat often here. Yeah, 8-9 is certainly making sense on this river. 8-9 jack. Yeah, it was a very bad river, but it's annoying you bet so small on the river. But I can't see what hands he even has on the river to bluff with here. Like, we block the Jack Queen, we block the Jack 9, even though he does have Jack 9, but you know, because we have the Jack. We block the nut flush draw, we block the Kings. Like, he has to have, well, 8-9 is going to be a big part of his range there, and I don't see what busted draws he's going to bluff with here too often, unless he does have somehow have Queen Jack. But I mean, if he has Queen Jack, he should have like spades with it, and we block that, like I say. So didn't expect to be winning too much on the river there. This is a good raise with the trips here. You can't just wait till you have full houses to raise, obviously. It's you know, just a min bet into a limped pot. It's certainly good and fine to be raising. Okay, it seems like he's checking his cashier too much. It's bad for you, man. I don't advise checking it too often. I just advise focusing on playing. I seem to do better when I don't check my results too consistently. Yeah, this is a terrible run out here, obviously. Very likely he has the same hand as us, or maybe he was free rolling us as well, so yeah, or ace queen with a flush draw. I mean, yeah, he's either like got the same hand as us, or he's got loads of outs on the turn. But obviously, we don't do anything on this river. You see, he thought about raising here, possibly, but yeah, it's not really good enough hand to raise. So it's good, just call, obviously. Yeah, it's good value bet on the top left. So we have a king high flush draw, we have bottom pair, we have an open ender. We can lead here. We can lead and we can call a raise. It is 4 ways, so you don't have to lead it too much. I can see you thought about it, but certainly if it's 3 ways, I would probably lead all the time here. But 4 ways, I mean, probably don't have to lead. But I think as we have a queen blocker as well, it's pretty nice to have to block queen 9. So like I would probably like to bet a turn, I guess, maybe half the time with this hand. Just going to do a quick fast forward here. So it's generally solid game. Couple of spots where too passive. And maybe one spot with the flush draw on the ace king jack deuce with top pair on the river. Possibly could have folded, but yeah, generally pretty solid there. So that'll do it for this session. Let's just go through this hand here. Where can we can just look at this. So we had a ace ace queen 10, right? We had ace of clubs, queen of clubs, and I think we had, not sure what else we had. What did we have? The other two didn't matter, right? Yeah, the other two didn't really matter, I think. So ace ace queen 10 of the clubs, right? Board was 8-9 deuce, was it? I don't think it was 8-9 deuce, was it? 8-9-4, I think. Can we find it? It was the bottom left table, I know that much. There we go. Ace ace queen 10. And it was 8-9-4, yeah. 8-9-4 with a heart, right? Oh, we had backdoor hearts, right? Oh no, we had backdoor clubs. Yeah, it's club. 8-9-4 hearts, yeah. Yeah. And we had this backdoor club, right? Okay. So player 2. So we're saying on this board, he's going to get it in with any 2 pair or better, right? So he's getting it with worst 2 pair. 8-4 better, that's all the sets and everything, right? He's getting it in with like a king high flush draw and better, probably. We have the ace of hearts, right? So he's going to get it in with king of hearts. Or better than the king of hearts. Then he's going to have 8-9, which is already included there. He's going to have 10 jack with overcards. Is fine to jam here. Especially 10 jack 7, etc. So even if we say 10 jack 7 plus, right? Which is just the wraps. 10 jack 7 plus, right? Oh shit, I don't think this is right. King of hearts, heart. I don't know the syntax here. Let me just see. I don't know. I don't really use this too much, right? So there's 2 spades and 2 hearts. We just want this to have a heart, right? King of hearts, X of hearts. Oh shit, I didn't do this. Nope. Does that not make sense? King of heart, heart. I've ruined the video, right? Yeah, so we just it should be this. Heart, heart with at least a king or something. Fuck. I didn't put this there. I don't know. 4-8 or better. Any flush draw. Anyway, 10 jack 7 and better. How do I do flush draws, man? Come on. Flush draws, yeah. With at least a king or better. Yeah, this is what I put. Yeah, fuck off. Right. We need 33% equity, right? Here we have 54% equity. That's just, we're even ahead of these hands that he's jamming here, right? So even if you're saying he's not jamming like just a flush draw, he's definitely jamming 2 pair or better, right? Maybe he doesn't have too many 8-4s. So if you just say 8-9 and better, you know, which is just the top 2 pair and better, right? We're just crushing, you know. If you're saying it's a flush, even if it's just a flush draw with a pair or better, or a flush draw, with a wrap, an open ender or better. So here, this is just like a super strong range. It's going to have top 2 pair, a wrap, a flush draw with like second pair or better, a flush draw, any flush draw with a wrap, an open ender or better. So basically, you can see this is just a huge mistake because we're even still winning against these hands on 8, 9, 4 with aces, an overpair. It's an overpair, gut shot, backdoor flush draw. We only need 33% because it's 2 to 1, right? And we're just crushing, absolutely crushing. So we should never fold that hand. So that's the only real huge mistake I'm going to say in that pot, because when we fold, we can never win anything there, right? And we should definitely not be folding. Right, thanks guys. Tune in next time. Been an honour.